So Trump, he's been in office for a few days now and he's already making quite the bang. I see him, his media team's in there, filming, asking him questions. He's signing a bunch of executive orders. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I've seen. Hasn't he signed like 70 orders already?
Yeah, something like
Just
that.
undoing everything Biden put in
He's
place.
like, that's got to go.
Immediately.
That's got to go. Hell no to that.
Yeah, he's just getting on with it. So yeah, I've seen.
But there was a particular clip that stood out to me because it ties in to some things we've said previously. When I tell you the picture is coming together, Baba laid it all out.
That he did.
It's coming to pass. But I just wanted to share this short clip of, I guess he's being interviewed within the White House as he's doing stuff. And he says something quite interesting.
Okay, all right, let's go.
How confident are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the 3 phases of the deal?
I'm not confident. That's not our war, it's their war, but I'm not confident. But I think they're very weakened on the other side.
Do you support the two-state
Gaza, boy, I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really got to be rebuilt in a different way.
Do you plan to help in rebuilding Gaza?
I might. You know, Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location. On the sea, best weather. You know, everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting. But some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
So there we go. There we go. What even to say? But as we see, you know,
It's coming together.
it's coming together.
It's coming together, and we spoke about this.
Yeah, in a previous episode. So cue the flashback. When we were doing our deep dive for the updates, we collated one where Bubba just breaks it down. So I'll just read it and then we can talk about it. So regarding Trump, Bubba said he would be the last US president, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Let's pin that.
Let's pin
that for later.
Come back in a few years.
Also said he would serve 2 terms and that Sin, Nannar, chose him to build the temple in Jerusalem dedicated to Tammuz, giving him 7 years to complete it.
Right. So we need to go over that specific update and break it down. So Nannar telling Trump, you got 7 years, build the Temple of Solomon for Tammuz. Tammuz being my grandchild, but Tammuz is an interesting one. We got to see how that plays out. He could describe him as a neutral being. That's what you could describe him as, a neutral being, because he has both lineages in him. And so that's what we see Trump has been asked to do. That's why his re-election was inevitable in some sense, because he's been chosen again, not chosen again, but he's been given another chance to complete his works. And those works specifically center around the building of the Temple of Solomon. Okay.
In Jerusalem, which in Jerusalem, which would take us on to Israel and Palestine and what's going on there.
Right.
Just side note, if I was Trump, I'd be like, can you start the 7 years again?
Yeah.
I had interruptions.
Yeah, I had an interruption. You got to reset this. I can't
Reset the clock.
Pick up my work.
Reset the clock.
Yeah, but Trump, he's gotten started already. He's appointed Elon Musk and Vivek to run a particular initiative to try and clean up the government. He's got started. He's not wasting any time. He's like, oh snap, I ain't got much time.
He's not even in office yet.
Yeah, I need to get this done, right? So you mentioned Israel and Palestine. If you go back to the episode that we did on Israel and Palestine, episode 24, I explained the whole history of Israel and Palestine. If you want to read it.
Eloquently, if I might add.
Don't flatter me. Don't. You know, I'm melanated, but I might blush. Don't flatter me. All right. Yeah. So I explained the whole history of Israel and Palestine, going back to maybe the origination of the Zionist movement. Zionist. We see the tone again. Zionist.
Exactly.
Those of Zion. Right. So we explained that. We would have also mentioned in that episode that Trump, one of the things he tried to do in his previous reign was he came with some type of peace proposal for Israel and Palestine, right? But the proposal clearly lent towards Israel because the Israeli people were happy with it, but the Arabs were not happy with it, okay? We've seen even recently, you sent me the article recently, just as he's become elected, of him and what's the Israelis' leader's name? Netanyahu. Him and Netanyahu yeah, we see eye to eye on what needs to be done in Iran. Yeah, of course they see eye to eye.
Of course.
Okay, so what we explained in that episode 24, is that the reason that the Israeli people have invaded Palestine, or the reason that war is going on, so to speak, between the European Jews and the Muslim Arabs, right, is because the European Jews or the Israeli people want to take back their holy land. And this was another update that the master put out. And you got to go different places, find these different pieces of the puzzle. In another update, he explained that the reason that they're doing what they're doing is because they want to take back their holy land so they can build their temple to prepare for the return of their Messiah. Okay, so that was an update that was put out. So the Israeli people, when Trump and Netanyahu see eye to eye, they see eye to eye. Okay, they don't for a second think that these people don't have a clear understanding of what's going on. Trump knows what's going on. He may speak of God in a religious context. He knows who God is. He knows what he's supposed to do. He's had contact with this Nannar being. So you have to understand that. So the Israeli people or the Israel warring against Palestine is all about Holy Land. It's all about that land, to take it back, because when you build a temple, you have to build it in a specific place, right? And so they want to take back the land in order to build the temple. And we know that Trump has been tasked with overseeing the building of that temple. So what you have to do from that perspective is watch Trump's movements as it pertains to the Israel-Palestine war.
Yeah.
Did it happen?
It happened.
Flashback happened? Yeah. To be honest, once you see what we said, if I recall correctly, there might not be much more to say on that, because obviously we would have laid it out. We would have laid out what Baba Yaanuwn predicted and told us how it's going to come together, what they're actually doing over there. And so when you see Trump saying that, obviously one thing I said in that episode is, watch what Trump does as it pertains to Israel and Palestine. Read between the lines of what he's saying. Right there, you don't even need to read between the lines, just read the lines. He's laying it out, and he's talking about rebuilding and whatnot. And clever with his words, right? So you study the war, obviously, you should know your locations, know where Gaza is, know where the West Bank is, Jerusalem, etc., etc. But conflict has taken place in multiple places. People understand what's happened there. And so when he talks about rebuilding, it's a deep one. It's very interesting to watch this play out and match it with the doctrine, match it with what Baba Yaanuwn has said, and just see it manifesting before our eyes, to be honest. And Trump is going to do his best to do what he has been hired to do by the extraterrestrial being Nannar. The question just comes to me is like, okay, what are we going to do? Because he's doing what he's doing. Yeah,
he's doing his job.
What are we going to do as a people? I don't even know if there's much to add to that other than keep watching his behavior as it pertains to a lot of things. But obviously we spoke specifically about the Israel-Palestine situation because we know it's deeper than even it appears. Mm-hmm. And what they're trying to do, we broke down in that episode, and we're going to see it play out just as it said it will. So it's deep.
It is deep. And just another quick thing to add, because probably in the episode after episode 26, was it 27, JFK, Trump, and the JFK files one, I forget the full title of it, because we were reacting to an interview he did on Joe Rogan where he said, when I get in office, I'm going to release the files, the JFK, RFK and MLK files. So he's just signing an executive order to declassify them.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see what we see.
Let's see what comes out of it. What comes out of it. When you talk about JFK, his brother, let's see what comes out of it. That's all I can say. Let's see what's actually released. There's been files that have been released before and it was very minimal, not a lot to go off. But we're in a day and time, like we keep saying, where some things are going to be impossible to hide anyway. So they're going to try and decide what they're going to reveal to you, how they're going to reveal it, which parts are they going to say, so on and so forth. JFK, we know he was assassinated for multiple reasons, as I said in that episode. Multiple reasons, multiple things that he was doing that the establishment, should we say, didn't like. But one of the things he was going to do is reveal the existence and cooperation with aliens and extraterrestrials. That not only do they exist, but government knows about them. Government have investigated and even worked with them. And so they were like, you're not going to do that. Hence, you had Marilyn Monroe as well, who died, I think, a year before him. and then his brother who died a few years later. So yeah, and then MLK, I'm interested. Let's just see what comes out. You got to watch what's happening right now as it pertains to all areas. Watch what he does. Watch what's going on. Watch the planet. Watch the weather. We're shifting. It's a serious time.
Yeah, it's a serious time.
Yeah, you've seen the weather over there.
It's
wild.
Crazy.
It's wild. Fires in one place.
Yeah, snow in the other half. And it's snowing in places like it hasn't snowed certainly in a long time. I think I saw a headline, snow in New Orleans for the first time in 15 years. So it's just like, it had snow in Georgia. Yeah.
I think there was going to be a blizzard in Florida, if I read correctly. So, yeah, it's all happening and it all pertains to the times that we're talking about. And so it's going to come, we're coming into a period, we should have been there already, where it's going to be like, okay, well, might have to pay attention to what this being's saying and really go through it. Let me study now. Let me try and put the picture together real quick, because I'm not sure how much longer we have. So yeah, it's deep. Watching what's going on is deep. Listening to Trump in that particular interview is like, come on, man.
And he likes to kind of toy with the truth.
Yeah.
He's there like, I might rebuild it. The same way it's like, I've never been a believer in aliens.
Yeah.
But maybe life on Mars.
Possible. So yeah, like I've said before, don't think these guys don't know what they're talking about. But the question really becomes, I emphasize, it's like what we're going to do. Because, a lot of people, I think we even mentioned it and we wasn't really able to dive into it. A lot of people are upset. A lot of black people, if you use that terminology, in America, certainly were upset. Some weren't, but some were upset. A lot were upset that Trump was elected. And you come to see that when it pertains to what they're doing, it doesn't have much to do with us anyway, whoever is elected. What are we going to do as a people in this day and time?
We need to build a nation of our own.
Yeah, exactly. So don't worry about what they're doing. Don't worry about what they're rebuilding, or worry about it if we don't come together. Worry about it. But yeah, keep watching. That's all I would say to people. Just keep watching. Put the pieces together. Try and follow what we've tried to reveal of what Baba Yaanuwn has said on this. And you'll see it. You'll see us coming together. The layers are deep. So yeah, a lot of this is it has a religious connotation to it. These wars, these agendas, they have a religious connotation to it. But when we say it has a religious connotation, we don't mean religion on layer one. We mean what religion is really about, which is a group of extraterrestrial beings who have their own agenda, especially when you're talking about the three modern day religions. And so when you see people carry out certain things, whether they do so blatantly in the name of religion or in the shadows, what they're really doing is serving their overlords and trying to follow a directive that's been set above them. Okay, so these people don't necessarily make these decisions. They're put into a seat to do a job. And that's what Trump is. That's the seat that Trump's in now. He's been put into a seat to do a job, and he's trying to do it.
Yeah, there you have it. There you have it. Not much more to say.
Not much more to say.